Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tired F1 Pod. We are, Ammar, what, days out from the
Yep,
Spanish Grand Prix?
totally.
Man, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to get some answers and it's going to be really, really good. Even if the race isn't an absolute scintillating
Well,
extravaganza, I still think it will be quite fun to watch.
you called this Barcelona testing, in-season testing. So I think we're
The
gonna
wind tunnel, yeah,
the wind
the
tunnel,
Barcelona wind
wind
tunnel.
tunnel. So
I
we're
didn't call it
gonna,
that.
yeah,
I didn't call it
I
that. I
mean,
think James Allison called it that.
oh, come on, we're gonna own this one. Come on, like let's no, but I think isn't this the race where we really find out where everyone stacks up, right? It's far off into the season, a lot of upgrades and all of those kind of in the mix. We'll really kind of see how people stack up.
Yeah, I mean, I think Barcelona is a proper aero test of a car, whereas other circuits this season, especially places like Montreal and Miami,
Yeah.
have been mechanical tests of of cars. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on. And actually, going into this race, there's already been a little bit of intrigue. Red Bull, it sounds like via Automotor und Sport in Germany, are complaining about McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes
My
all
goodness.
having wings that are too flexible. Okay, we're going to talk very, very quickly about this because it might be a slightly dry subject, but it does have some impact on the competitive order going forward. So what is it? Why are we talking about flexible wings again? And why is it Red Bull complaining when it's always them that had the flexible wings? What is going on?
I love that in this season, Red Bull are the ones complaining for the first time, considering how their season has started. Just want to put it out there.
Isn't that a cause for optimism? I think it is, and it suggests that everybody else is doing something right. Finally, but why flexible wings? What's the point? So, two people I need to thank. First is James Allison. Always, he's come with a killer little quote via Autosport following Monaco and Montreal. He said this. So I'm going to try and break this down rather than doing a quote. So paraphrasing. So what he's talking about is the fact that as these cars go faster, the cars get lower, right? And that's what they want, right? And the lower they get, the more downforce they produce, because the lower they get, the better the ground effect gets, right? And the part of the car that likes to get lowest the most is the front wing, right? The front wing wants to hit the deck quicker. And that then produces more downforce at the front of the car. And that then changes the aero balance in quick corners, right? It means that the front of the car comes down, produces more downforce, and that's great, right? It gives you better turning, but what it then does is it destabilizes the rear end of the car. So what Mercedes have been doing is trying to fix that imbalance mechanically, and by doing that, they've essentially made it that they've made the rear end more stable in those quicker corners, but they've done that at the expense of the front end not being quite as good. Again, the duvet that we keep talking about, right? So what the flexible wing does is that it allows you to have your cake and eat it. It means that in the quick corners, the front wing's angle of attack comes off a little bit because the top surface is stretched back a little bit, so it's a bit more aerodynamic. It produces less downforce, so it means that the rear end of the car and the front end of the car are more balanced, so you don't get that snap oversteer that they've been getting. But it then means that when you come into a corner, the angle of attack comes back again, so it's much more of a downforce generator, and it means that you get that turning without the rear end of the car spinning round on you. So you get the best of both worlds, and that what James Allison is hoping that the front wing is allowing Mercedes to do. Now, this is not my analysis. I have to thank our friend Dr. Obbs for giving me that. If you don't follow him, what the hell are you doing? Go and find Dr. Obbs on Twitter. He is incredible. And always a source of technical knowledge and just knowledge in general. Just good guy. But that's the crux of it. That's what the flexible wing is trying to do. And Red Bull are complaining about it. And like you said, I think that is good news for everyone that watches Formula One, because it suggests that the other teams have found a thing that that Red Bull don't want everyone else to know about, because I think Red Bull have been using a flexible wing since the beginning. And probably McLaren made that step forward in Austria last year as well, which was part of the key to why they have done so well. And Ferrari have done it this season, and now Mercedes have got it too. So sounds spicy to me.
Nothing like a good old complaint that kind of tells us what's going on, right? I mean, and I think this also in 22 we had this too, right? With ride height and porpoising back when porpoising was a thing, and this is interesting. And I've been kind of waiting for this. Like, we had to wait. There's nothing like this that happened last year, right? I can't remember any sort of complaint that happened. So this is great. I'm 100% with you. I think your technical analysis was spot on. For me, the big picture item is exactly what you ended with, which is, this does mean that the teams are really catching on. And I think some of Red Bull's sort of secret sauces, I think, are being revealed, right? And you kind of have to see where this goes. But and this is, I mean, I kind of, lost in all of the, the Lewis versus George kind of hoopla was, wow, Mercedes have actually made that step forward. And it does feel like this is part of the answer that they've come up with. And I think it'll be interesting to see what this race in particular shows. But at the moment, you have to kind of tip your hat to what they're doing.
Yeah, right. So I obviously want to go back into that hoopla because I can't stay away from it.
I'm trying here, guys. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, only in so much as, look, for me, this is what I need to see. What we talked about at the end of the last video was about how when the car gets better, Lewis tends to exponentially get better with it. So I'm going to make a prediction for Barcelona, and I'm going to say,
spicy.
I'm going to say that Lewis Hamilton outqualifies George Russell.
No way, man.
Yeah, that's my prediction. And I think more than that, you guys can hold my feet to the fire afterwards. I think that Lewis Hamilton outqualifies George Russell across the triple header. If Mercedes are doing what we all expect and hope that they are doing, in terms of bringing a more competitive car, I'm going to put my head on the block and say Lewis Hamilton outqualifies George Russell across the triple header. There you go.
I'm going to send you an actual block to put on your head, and for one of our things, if you're wrong, then we're going to do that.
Yeah, that's right. I'll bring the guillotine. You bring the block.
Sounds good.
Will hopefully bring us a slightly more interesting Barcelona race than we perhaps would have expected. Although 22 and 23 were both pretty good races, weren't they?
No, they were pretty good.
I think in the turbo hybrid era, it's been quite good for races that we thought were going to be rubbish. Barcelona's been good, I think, for the last few seasons. Hungary's been really good for the last few seasons, and so hopefully we'll have a good race this weekend. And I think the bottom line is that Red Bull are probably still going to come out on top. They just have the platform that allows them to really stretch their legs when it comes to aero dependent circuits. And they don't have the sort of curbs and the chicanes at Barcelona that would normally trip them up. So I think it's probably still going to be a Red Bull weekend. But it will be interesting to see how close the other teams have got.
Since we're doing predictions, I predict Carlos for pole. That's all.
Ooh. Why did you say that? There has to be some reason.
Home Grand Prix. I'm not suggesting win, but I'm just saying pole.
Okay, so why is he going to get pole and not the win?
I don't know, because Red Bull is too competitive, right? And I think Max can figure it out over the course of a race. But in one lap, you can make something happen, and Ferrari have done that over the course of at least the last 3 years. So
yeah, if you're looking for a one-lap guy in a competitive car, Carlos is not your
I know,
guy,
but
man.
it's home Grand Prix, man. That's why.
What does that mean?
That's an extra energy, extra boost. What is it? An extra tenth, right? That's what it costs.
A Ferrari sabotaging Charles Leclerc's car
Oh, I
for
can't wait
Carlos
to have.
Sainz.
I'm so tired of you guys having your sabotage talk. I'm feeling left out with all of this. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
right.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. On that bombshell,
Yep.
I think it's time to call it. That's the quick dirty video on flexible wings. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, please subscribe, please leave us a comment. We read all of them. We respond to as many as we possibly can. We are heading closer and closer to the magic 1,000 subscribers. When we hit that, I'm sure we're going to do something special. We'll have to have a chat. We will see you guys in the next one.
Later.